Hello, everybody. I wish everybody a great Tuesday. It's Uwe here, and we are going to be going through some of the BGG questions people have posed, and I am going to also take a few questions. We're not going to be doing a very long session. We want to keep it around 20, 25 minutes. So welcome, everybody. Hello, Kevin de Koenig. De Koenig, I like that. And Adam, good to see you. I will be going through the first one. Objectives. How do you gain them, and what are they? Are they individual or shared, tied in events? What objectives are in every era? Let's say you're a brand new group and you're all era ones. You will pull always 2 more objectives than the highest era in your playing group. So for all era 1, we're going to pull 3 objective cards. There are early era objective cards and there are late era objective cards. You always are pulling 3 early era objective cards. So let's say we're a group of 4 players playing. We randomly pull from the early objectives 3 cards, turn them around, everybody can see them. The first player to fulfill one of these 3 early objectives will win that era and then gets the rewards for that era. Now, let's say that 2 players fulfill, or even 3 fulfill one of these 3 eras, and they don't have to have the same, any one of those 3 in the same round. The first person who fulfilled it will go through the cards that they drew for their bonuses. They will choose one, pass on to the next person, they'll choose one, and then they go away. So you may, if you win, be pulling an objective that you may not be your first choice, but you know the person who's second, you know what they're doing. It may put, again, hard decision-making options. Again, the rules are very simple, but it's a depth of what are these other people doing? Now, as soon as your second, third, fourth era, let's say you're playing 1 first era, 2 second era players. As soon as your second era, you will pull 2 more objective cards in the highest era. So now they're going to be 4 objective cards. 3, they're always 3 early era, and then from then on, all era cards are going to be late era. So you're going to have 3 early era, 1 late era. And let me go through some of these early era cards so everybody can kind of see. For example, one of them says population growth. Place 8 population markers on your planets. So you have to have 8 population built up to win that first era objective. Or another one, for example, that I have here is economic growth. Have 10 of a single resource available to gain victory. So you're trying to get energy. Have 10 energy that you've mined throughout the different solar systems that you've taken. These are objectives, and there are always 3 of them. And usually objectives are not, in the early eras, they're not due to your ethics or anything like that, have nothing to do with it. So they're very open, but you never know what other people are going for until you start seeing them going that direction. Then you either may want to counter or help them out or whatever. Any more questions with the objectives? And I'm going to do this right. I'm going to go into my Discord here channel with Jim, and with Discord does not like to break down. Are there any questions with ethics, Jim or Jeremy? All right. Then the next question that we have is, in a multiplayer games, there will be a lot of politics cards being thrown around. In a 2-player, you will draw a card and you can either use it or mostly cannot use it. Does this system adapt to player count? The politics cards have a conditional type of political event that happens and a non-conditional. So the conditional are you as a militarist could not use this because it's against this, or a xenophobe, or things like that. So others could use this, whereas there are also lower conditional ones that maybe you can't use it right away, but you can keep it in your pile or in your hand until you do see you can maybe change the situation to the point where then you can take advantage of this. So, for example, again, I pulled up some politics cards. And for one politics card is militarist demand. So you have to be like of a militarist persuasion. Place in an enemy's objective card area. If they are at war, discard this card. At the end of each round, they decrease their approval by 1. So you're putting distance into their populations that their approval rating is going to be going down. And we'll go into approval rating was one of the next questions we had of why approval ratings and what they do and why they're important. And then the non-conditional one is place one pirate ship in an enemy system with no corvettes in it. If they are in a higher area than you, place an additional pirate ship counter. So we are, I believe we've unlocked the pirate miniatures. So these aren't just going to be ships. They're going to be the miniatures for the people who are getting the Frontiers expansion. So the political cards are things, if you have high unemployment in the planet, you may play a political card that creates riots for food riots or what have you. It goes on and on. So the politics is a really neat little things that, again, can trickle forward into storylines. You don't only just get politics cards or conditional cards or things like that through by drawing, but also through story event lines that happen. And I'm going to go back to Jim and Jeremy. If in Discord, are there any questions that came up? And unfortunately, Discord just Gunta, is there a way, Jim or Jeremy, for me to collapse the members in our discussion group, because it's taking up, when I try to make it half screen, taking up a whole third of my screen. Again, nothing in Discord being told to me here. And let me make sure I'm in the right Discord. Oh, okay. Jeremy, I was in the other Discord channel. Iconography is a large part of Stellaris. Do you plan on showcasing the current icons on the board game before the end of the Kickstarter campaign? Yes, we will be putting up, we've had people asking for that. What a very important thing is, on the phase boards, it's all icons. And yesterday, I updated on the main page, we updated the phase board and gave some descriptions. And at the last part in the summary, we put in there that the phase boards are two-sided. On the front are everything you'll ever be able to do in that phase, no matter how advanced your civilization, and its icons. On the reverse side, we only show what an Era 1 empire can do, and they're not going to do these wild advanced things, building battleships in the first era. Not going to happen. They're not going to be able to build up their technology that quickly. So there, we're showing not only icons, but a full written description of what each icon means, etc., etc. But I will make sure also that I put a graphic up with the different icons for this for the Kickstarter. And also, we are going to have, of course, a little player cheat sheet for those who are using it. I'm even looking at talking with Gunta for a new player. Give them a little deck of cards. They want to do something, they just pull that. Oh, I want to move. Oh, I can do it on this exploit thing. This is what I do. So we're very, very aware of getting new players getting into the game easy. Again, the game's very simple. You have 4 boards. You just choose which board you want to do. For a new player, it's more overwhelming. Oh, these boards allow me to do like 4 or 5 different things. Well, no. For you, turn it around. It's only going to be 1 or 2 or 3 things per board that you as a new empire are going to be doing, and you can use it. And if you don't want to use that side as new empire, just flip it around, whatever you want to do. How does a game control old civilizations, ones the players abandoned? Abandoned civilizations, they will have certain type of cards going into the storylines that affect, and also they're going to have certain type of systems and everything that will have different type of like anomalies and things happening. So we don't want to give away the surprise, because this is a game where you're discovering stuff. People said, tell us about the crisis and how those work. Part of the game is that you're not reading the rules to learn these. They're coming at you as the stories develop, and things are developing slowly for you as the story progresses. That's an old one. So next, I'm going to go then to the next question we had. What is shift ethics when you reach 0 approval? Currently, it doesn't look too much trouble staying at 0-1 approval. Okay, what shift ethics will do. Your ethics are, for example, different type of ethics that you have are, let me pull some of them up here so I can let you know. The different type of ethics that we have are, for example, you're militarist, or you're spiritualist, or pacifist, or xenophobe, or xenophile. Different type of ethics that are one of the main symbols on top of your player chart that you have to, that guide you and kind of limit you in certain decisions that you want to make. So if you're a pacifist, you're not going to do some blow up a planet for no reason, just because they're not listening to you and coming under your domain, things like that. As you're going down in your shift ethics, for example, at 50%, you're then told that you're pulling different type of opposition ethics cards. And opposition ethics cards are the opposition in your planetary domain, in your empire, that are working against you, the power, the might in power at the time. And their ethics are going to be different. And these ethics are going to create other little storylines that, if you don't get your ethics up, are beginning to bring discord in your population. And when you're getting down towards 0, these are going to start to take effect. And as soon as you do get to 0 or down towards 0, you're then going to be forced to discard your ethic with an opposition ethic, meaning that the opposition has now taken power in your government and they're changing things. Kind of like in real world politics, you have different political parties that have different type of total outlooks to international politics, and that is in the PC game and is also in the board game. But made simple, because there are no rules and exemptions. Oh, if that, no, it's happening. You're told, pull this, and you can see your opposition growing unless you get your approval up and try to counter the opposition. Finally, the question I had is, if some empires are unable to fulfill objectives due to their ethics, then what happens if a player is unable to win an era at all? As you can see, most of the objectives are not built upon ethics. Now, certain type of objectives, like take over a different system or something, you may not want to do. That's your choice. But you're always going to have a minimum of 3 objectives. And as you're getting to second, third, fourth eras where the universe is getting very tight, people are really going for the same type of objectives and all that, things change. But then let's say the highest is at 4 era, they're going to be 3 early era and 4 late era objectives sitting out there. I'm sorry. If it's 4th era, they're going to be a total of 6 cards. So 3 early and 3 late era. So there are many different things you can do. But remember, at a 4th era, they've got to complete 4 of these objectives. So some of these objectives may not be to their liking or something like that. So they're going to have to decide, am I better off going to win this, if I'm playing a longer game, to win this, again, era, like in real life, or I'm going to just do this and take this as a gray round and say, I'm going to have to take this one. I'm going to build up everything I need. I don't like this. I don't want to screw these people over, or it's not against my best interest to make my move yet, because I need to do this to get to my ascension, whatever. I'm actually going to try to build myself up to the point, but I'm not going to worry about winning the era, because I'm going for the long view of next era or the era after, when I want to go for my ascension or whatever. So again, this game is not like your typical game. I just want to go out, build up, and kill everybody and be the winner. It's a much more subtle game. Very simple rules. The rules aren't a lot. You got your 4 boards, and what I'm going to be getting into more and more as we have in the meta games and in the next meta game also, the storylines, everything rippling forward, everything coming at you, and all the little different secret objectives and everything that you can build up. There's a lot more to the game that we're not going to give away because it is this beautiful little storylines emanating forward. Let me go back into the Discord. Okay, we are now in the general, correct? Jim and Jeremy, we are in the general, or are we in R1? So we are also, a lot of people are asking about, I'm putting the overview. Gunta is also working on in the overview, the rule system overview, where we're going to be putting the core, most of the gameplay rules, but they're not like our rules that we're used to, where all pictures, like 2/3 of every page is examples, because this is a game that has so many subtleties that new players, it's not a game of checkers, where you say, here, these are the rules, and it's A or B. You get jumped or you don't get jumped, and the main strategy is, the long term is how to set up. Here is all the subtleties also of other player emotional. There's so much that you can do in this game that is just beyond just A or B, build up and try to kill each other, because in myriads of different ways. Your ascension power is not always about killing everybody. Like in real life, how many of us go out going, oh, my objective today is, that's a bad thing to talk about. As nations, historically, it's gone many ways. All right, I'm going to go on the live chat, and we're almost done here. We're at 2:15. We've gone through 15 minutes. Bearform Druid, having the explore action on the expand board, but also having a board that is called explore. Let me see here. This is going on past. If you can tell me a little more, Jim, some of these questions that have been going on for a while, I would appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Here's a name I can't even pronounce. Peg Ash. Well, I know what Ash means in Deutsch, in German. Pegash. I don't know what the pig means, though. Experiment. Okay, so some of you are talking about how the expand, explore, exploit, and exopolitics, how the cover and what you're doing in each, how it may not fit in how people think it should be fitting. If you look, the survey system is in the expand area, and the exploring is exploring the technologies and a lot of the storylines and things going on with that. So it could go in many ways. How we word stuff could go in many ways. What's important, though, is that we keep it simple, that when players are playing, you're doing one of 4 different boards that allow you to do the different things. Of course, the exploring the different type of technologies, social, economic technologies or policies, your sciences, military or other sciences to get your civilization expanding. So the expand is where we went with the serving other systems and moving your ships. Exopolitics is easy because in exopolitics, that's where all the subtleties are happening with your politics cards, claiming systems, recruiting new leaders, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing, people are asking about leaders, and these came up quite a bit. Leaders, as you're going up in age or experience or level, whatever you want to call it, we kind of put age in there just because in people's minds, it's easier than saying, okay, as your experience level goes up, and then I don't care how experienced you are, you're going to go kaput one of these days. So the age, as you're going up in age, and your experience is going up. In real life, people can say, well, they're 15-year-olds, have a lot more science knowledge than a 60-year-old. On average, these are top of the people in your empire. As they're going up, their probability of being able to open up technologies, figure things out, you're finding anomalies like we did in our update. If you haven't been doing the metagames and updates, our intent from the beginning was to start at the beginning and teach you how to play the game through these metagames. And I think we've done a pretty good job with that. And in one of those, we're showing how leaders are used. And if you have the correct type of leader, a science leader or political leader, et cetera, or militarist, depending on what your leader is and what you want to do, if you have a science technology, you're trying to unravel these computer systems of this alien race, and you have a science leader, well, he gets a +2 bonus to unlock that versus if you're not. So if you need a 7, your science leader level, and he's a 7, you need a 7 or less. But if it's a science and they match up, then they need a 9 or less on the D10. So it makes it easier for them to open up and discover and continue these technology or storylines down those paths. Christian Hepna. I'm really looking forward to this game, but the weird labeling of the action boards, just for the sake of calling it 4X, is eventually casting a shadow. 4X is usually explore, expand, exploit, exterminate. Every single aspect of that is in this game. Why we didn't want to do exterminate and called it exopolitics is because this is not just a game of going out like in the older and a lot of games out there, just go out and try to crush everybody and become the grand military leader. Exopolitics can be also through politics, through economics, through all different type of things. Religion, I'm not going to get into some of the storylines and things that can happen, but 4X, that's why we did it. Now, everybody keeps on going, explore should be where you're going out and surveying and doing these systems. We felt that felt very good in expand and exploring the technologies and all. And again, hopefully the wording does not turn people off saying this game sucks because of wording, because wording is a tough thing. You know, is it either or either? As long as the idea is and it's easy for people to remember that expanding means opening up new systems and moving my ships. Exploring means I'm exploring new technologies, new ideas, things like that. Exploiting is, of course, mining, taking advantage of stuff, building colonies and ships to then go out and take stuff. And then exopolitics, of course, is the claiming of systems of political cards and adopting traditions, recruiting your leaders, the political things, and then also with the war and claiming systems if you win a war. We still have a few minutes here. Jim, hey, rename the Explore section survey system, or at least that confusing part is removed. Rename the Explore. Oh, yes, it is. Who said that, Jeremy? If you look at the new boards on the main campaign page, go down. Yes, we 100% agree. And we changed that to survey system. It says survey system now on all the boards and all the new stuff we're doing. So thank you very much. You're hired for our futuristic idea implementation in the past. So you're going to be working with the spaceships coming back in the past with, I won't say it. That's another storyline. I agree. If you're working with people in different languages, ideas are not monolithic. Exactly. That's why on the back of each, these base ones are all described in detail in what they do also. And if you guys have ideas for different things as we're finalizing, we're open. We listen to everybody because we're developing the system and the engine is what's key. the words and how we label things are very versatile. Like a lot of people said they want to have more from the PC game, a lot of the weapons names and all that. Yeah, that's going on. Just for now, we're just showing people, we need to say that this is Laser Tech 1, Laser Tech 2, Laser Tech 3, but then also have the name. We're also looking at putting graphics in there and stuff like that, just to make it really look good. And we're working with the Paradox Interactive artists and really doing a lot of cool things. Next, anything else? Any further add-ons planned? Yes, we have some very good add-ons. We are very lucky. We were offered by the Paradox Interactive's crew. They had a very limited edition Stellaris art book and how the art and how everything was developed. And they only did like 500 a few years ago, and you could only get it at a certain convention and everything. And they've allowed us to do a limited print run of those also and offer them. So that's going to be an add-on for the people who really love Stellaris and see who all the artists were and what their ideas were and the progression of the art. It's a 140-page book, beautiful, full-color, big book. I believe it's 210 by 220 millimeters. So it's a nice big book when it opens up. Beautiful, beautiful. So we're going to put those up for the fans of that. Another add-on that we're going to be adding is the, a lot of you have asked for sleeved cards, the sleeves, and also the boxes, because sleeve cards take almost twice the number of space, especially we're going with really high-end, thicker, totally clear, tight-fitting sleeves for the poker-sized cards, the 89 millimeters by 63.5 millimeter cards. So these are going to fit, and when you sleeve cards, they take about, without sleeves, they're around 16 millimeters for 50 cards. With sleeves, they're 31 millimeters. So they're almost double in size. So in the base game, it's already a 5-kilogram game. Those who are getting deluxe, it's a 10 kilogram, over 20 pounds, these three games. So we're looking at roughly around 3,000 cards coming out, 1,300 to 1,400 cards in each box. And for us, we don't have the room in these huge boxes already. So we're doing expansion boxes that we're going to be offering. We're getting the quotes from everybody, and we're going to go make it very competitive so you guys can get them. But they're going to be with, so the cards are side by side. They're easily to find with your tabs on the top and with the sleeves. So each set's going to come with a box with the 6 subsections in it and 1,300 card sleeves per box. So if you're just getting a base box, you can get the one. If you're getting the base and the Frontiers, you can get the two of them. And that way, it won't all fit in the same box, because people want to sleeve 3,000 cards, 2,600, 3,000 cards. It's a lot. We're not going to be giving for the little cards, because those aren't what you're shuffling out. Those are like your trait cards and all that go into your player board at the beginning, and you don't touch them. Maybe you'll touch them once every 3 game sessions by going, oh, that was a nice thing to do. Thank you. Then we're also, people asked about, they want their own dice sets. Instead of having just black dice, 4 of them, what if every race could have 4 of their color? So we got quotes for those. We're going to go for those who want those. It's going to be a set of 24 D10 dice, and they're going to be 4 of each color, including for the Empire's expansion. And we're going to be putting that up also as an add-on. So those are going to be 3 add-ons that we're going to be putting on. The last thing is, people also asked for the Spaceborne aliens. They wanted some special miniatures for those, because they love Spaceborne aliens in the PC game. And we're going to have a lot of Spaceborne aliens in this game also that are popping up in storylines, doing all kinds of crap. And so for the people who want it, we are doing a Spaceborne alien pack if they want to get it. Is it necessary? No. Spaceborne aliens, they pop up, but we have really nice, beautiful counters for them. But if they want those, we're just, for the people who want it. And we're just going to do these just limited edition, because people came up with the ideas and we thought they were good. Any other questions, gentlemen? Jeremy, Jim? Do you find that constraints breeds creativity, like the saying goes? In particular, do you feel constrained or inspired by Stellaris theme IP? Very, very inspired by the Stellaris IP, because we were very constrained with some other things. When we're working with our military counterparts and doing training games and all that, we're constrained by actual what if or what could be out there. We can't just come out and say we're going to come out with a space hyperlink thing or something like this. But working with the IP of Stellaris, and Gunta's brought this up, working with Stellaris is like doing a historical board game, because the Stellaris universe is there and we can't go outside of it. But luckily, the Stellaris universe is so huge and so varied. We're working with their storyline people. Stellaris is Paradox Interactive has been so good because we're working with their top art teams, their top story writers, their top people are all involved. As you see, all these storylines, the Zen Onion that we opened up yesterday, them getting involved with storylines. A lot of the top YouTube channels and all are all getting into it. The Zen Onion is a phenomenal one that they did again. And I'm going through some of the other people we're working with, coming out with more and more stories down the rabbit hole. If you haven't had a chance to check out the Zen Onion, a pleasure to read. Down the rabbit hole, I started reading about the Deep Blue computer systems and how they were developing against trying to beat the chess masters. A phenomenal. They came up with great stories. Aspect, always incredible. Stefan Anand, who is just phenomenal, is giving us several stories. And then, of course, the Template Institute, we already have 2 of theirs. And we have more and more of these and working with these as we're going forward. So working with the Stellaris group and the fans and everything has been heaven sent. It's unfortunate that a lot of people are complaining that we're not going to be opening it directly in all languages. We are working with foreign language publishers in French, Spanish, German, Polish, Czech, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, all wanting to do. The base game though is going to be English, but we're looking at, it's a very language independent. We're looking then afterwards doing the cards and everything, the foreign language, and of course posting online the rules in all these languages. But the game is so in depth, and again, it's not a heavy miniature game where you're getting quite a well over 100 miniatures in this, 100, 150, maybe even 200. I've got to do a count here. But it's not cool minis and then just gameplay. This game is just a universe you're playing, exploring. You can tell because we're Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Shadowrun fans. I love those games. We sit and play those, and that's the fantasy. So it's been incredible working with Stellaris because they've just opened up our creativity even more. And the fans have been coming to us with a lot of great ideas. You, the pledge supporters, many of you have contacted us directly saying, hey, I've got this idea and this. We're going, great idea. Tell you what, boom, 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 boom. As soon as COVID's down, most of us are getting shots. We are going to be doing our physical play testing instead of just on Tabletop Simulator. So we're so excited. Most of us have gotten our shots already. In Ohio, they've opened it up now for 16 over. So hopefully in the other states, it's going that way also. Last, can multiple players have ships in the same system without comment? Yes, yes. This game, you can have your population ships working on it. You can have your ships going through other people's systems. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can, if you're not at war, it's all about diplomacy. Now, if you're moving your ships in my system, we have a pact, and I say, yeah, come on in. And all of a sudden, you're putting down claim markers on my system. Claim markers are like foretellers of war because it's the politics, the indoctrination, the propaganda you're putting out through these empires with your claim markers. And you need the claim markers later on if you win a war for them to flip to your side. So, but no, this is a game of diplomacy, talking with other people, making deals, laughing your asses off of the storylines and things that are happening to them, what they're doing, what they're trying to do, they're what's happening. You're building your own galactic storyline. I'm getting call after call, and I put it on silence, and they call, after they call 3 times, they start ringing. All right, we're past 30 minutes, and I want to thank everybody. They're still answering some questions online. Kevin Feta had a question. How does a Galaxy Map add-on work with being connected to the center? When you are playing the game, you're just playing in front of yourself. When you connect to the Galaxy, we're going to be doing this in tomorrow's metagame. We're going to show you now the Galactic Center. The Galactic Center is just, you can connect to other players. You can connect to the 3 galactic core tiles. You can connect, you just have to connect to something there and stay within the boundaries of the gameplay, which is 4 tiles out from the center. So we're going to be posting this tomorrow, showing the Galactic Center as it is with the other players. And then you are going to decide and discuss where you want our empire to attach the Galactic Center. So we have our empire with 3 tiles so far. We can rotate, and we got to keep the 3 tiles the way they are. We can rotate any way we want and attach any way we want to this Galactic Center. So when I'm to the Galactic Center, it can be to the galactic core, those 3 tiles, or to other empires, and not touching the galactic core at all, as long as I'm part of the Galactic Center. You can make diplomacy with anybody attached to the Galactic Center. You don't even have to be next to each other. There can be a race between you, a different empire between you, and you can still make deals. This is space. Space isn't like I'm walking from Toledo, Ohio to Cleveland, and I have to walk through everybody else's area. We can use phones now. We can use the internet. We can make all kinds of deals. So that's with the Galactic Center. As I'm aware, when you roll below before you connect to center, what if your current mapped out system doesn't fit space? Okay, what the big galactic map board does is cool. You can either go with the ring form, like in the PC, or spiral. If your cubes correctly into, let's say, spiral form, then and only then can you shift it to make it fit into the spiral form or whatever else you want to do. Because what this represents and what we're doing, even going from era to era, where each era, if you're not continually playing era to era and you took a break and you come back in the future, your setup is always the same, but how you attach to the Galactic Center isn't up to the players as they're setting up the game. Because universes and things are changing, maybe not as quick as in the era, but we also want to make fun that every time you get together, your empire is always the same, but how you're attached and how things are feeling and who you're close to and far away from can change, just to keep that tension going. Okay, I want to thank everybody. We have hit the 36-minute line. We are working hard on the rules, continuing to put up on the front page. I just told that there's a limit to how many words we can print on the front campaign page. So I'm going to have to change some of these words into high-res JPEGs with big writing, so even when you're looking at a little screen, you can see it. If you guys have any ideas with that, let me know in the comments or direct message us. And I wish everybody a great week. Thank you for your support. Hopefully these answers helped. And we'll see you on the metagame tomorrow and in our future Q&A coming up. Have a great day.